Hello there, today is day 26 of working on a currently untitled project, so let's hop right in. But just before we do that, I want to bring up, I mentioned this at the end of last video, but I did this after the outro, so I figured I may as well talk about it again. I'm not really happy with how I treated the day before yesterday. I was really frustrated after a long day, and I don't know, that's just not what I want to showcase. I want to showcase more positive stuff. So I'm going to think about how I'm going to present situations like that and how I'm going to generally just, well, yeah, just how do I present that? Because I don't want to be angry like that. It's not fun. It's not showcasing entertainment, is just being upset. And don't get me wrong, there's stuff that's going to be upsetting, but you know, that's just the creative process. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to try to avoid that going forward. I'll still showcase frustration and frustrating parts, but I'm going to avoid like outright anger if I can. Anyways, in terms of the actual core stuff today, I explored the Death Shader for the Enemy Wanderer. A lot of this is taken from a tutorial to Atara charity stream 2021, making a burning sphere in Unity URP. It's not all the way hooked up just yet, but there's, you know, but you can see the basic premise, like there's an impact point, and from there, you know, it burns away. There are a number of things I tried out with this. None of them really worked out too well. I want to get displacement working, but I'm not exactly sure how best to do that. I also need to do something about the sphere here. For right now, I think I may just delete it, so it just goes away. But, you know, there should be a better way of approaching that. So, things that need to get hooked up on this, I'll get into that in the ramble section. I also got the VFX graph imported, and I'm starting to, I'm also following the same tutorial again for this part as well. Right now I have particles that can spawn other particles. So it will progress. It's the idea is that then you mask this out with a sphere, the same sphere that you're using to mask out the same sphere mask that you're using to in the burning area, and then you use that to, you know, use the remaining particles to spawn the actual burning, like final particles that you want to use. But right now it just does that. So yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. I just didn't finish that up today, and I'm tired now, so good time to stop. Yeah, that's all the core stuff for today. If you want to listen to me ramble, feel free to stick around. Otherwise, feel free to click off. There's some other stuff that I did today that's not like core stuff. This is a showcase of a problem. So one of the things is that if you pay attention to well, these ones seem to not have it. Did I? Interesting. Dang, I may need to re-export this. And then I need to go here, 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 here. Okay, now the issue just doesn't exist for some reason. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's actually a solution then. I don't know for sure. Maybe it just has to do with the UVs. I would not know. But the long and the short of it is that for some reason when exporting, sometimes this should be one polygon. This algorithm here for randomizing vertex mesh colors, takes one polygon and sets all these guys to the same color value, and that's what that vertex color value is then used to do the shading. Exporting to an OBJ seemed to not have that problem, but then I export a bigger chunk and it has that problem right over here. Basically what's happening is that for some reason it's taking what should be one polygon and is splitting it into multiple polygons. That means that's duplicating vertex information. I don't know why it's doing this. It shouldn't be doing this because duplicate vertices take up more memory and that's suboptimal and that's bad. And so that just shouldn't be happening. But it's some issue with the exporter or importer, I'm not sure which. I really don't have any clues. The closest thing to a clue that I have right now is that it's no longer occurring on this mesh, and the only thing that has changed since prior to now and now is that I unwrapped the UVs properly. I did a smart UV unwrap too, because I want to have the depth effect working on this guy. So you can see that this case exists over here as well. This is the bug that I spotted yesterday, was this guy right here. Same basic premise. So now that I've done the UV unwrapping, the bug is gone, and that's the only thing that's changed. So maybe that's all that I need to do is just UV unwrap the mesh, and that'll fix the problem. I don't know. Yeah. I'll try UV unwrapping more often, and if that fixes the problem, or if I just don't see it again, then I'll assume that that's the fix. Interesting. I also discovered, as you may have noticed when I re-employed that mesh, my changes to the meshes with the randomizing of the mesh vertex colors won't save, so I need to redo this every single time I open up the editor. Or in practice, every single time the game launches, I'm going to have to iterate through all these meshes and perform this operation, which is okay. I can do that. The bits that's just frustrating about that is that I just need to assemble that list, and it's minor. It won't be a big deal, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be fine. I kind of wish I could save that to the file itself, but I can understand why I can't, because otherwise Unity would have to have actual FBX exporting functionality and so on and so forth, and that's, yeah, that's a lot. So I don't know, I'm liking the effect. It's a bit off right now. I'm not quite happy with it. I want it to be more in an ideal world, I'd be doing this per polygon, each polygon would break apart and shadow. I think I actually have an idea on how to do that. If I store the average position of the vertex in the B and A values for the vertex color, I can use the RNG values for the coloration like I have been, and I can use the B and A values for average vertex position, and then I use that for the dissolve shader, and that'll dissolve per polygon rather than doing it like this. I should try that out because that sounds really cool. That sounds really good. I want that. I may also just want to see how it looks with, you know, some particles in here, because if it's completely obscured and it won't be visible, then not really much point in putting that much effort in, but it shouldn't take very much effort anyways. I don't know. Yeah, I need to make a note of that. Just a sec. Okay, noted that down. Yeah, so the stuff that still needs to be hooked up, I still need to hook up, when one of these guys dies, it needs to spawn this prefab, and that prefab needs to inherit the velocity and angular velocity and accumulated forces on what spawned it. Then it needs to increase the scale of death point, and then it needs to kill the object after a bit. That's basically all there is to it. I may also want to re-enable collision in only a, have this on not the enemy layer, but something that collides with walls, but not with player projectiles or other enemies, maybe. Or maybe it will collide with other enemies, but it shouldn't collide with player projectiles because it's dying. Unless I want that to be the case, but you know that it'll be funky if it does, because it's dissolving, and so you shoot and you hit the dissolved. If you hit if half of it's dissolved and you shoot it, and basically that just looks wrong right there. You know, it doesn't look right when you're shooting and you're hitting this part that just doesn't exist visually. So just disabling collision entirely might be best, and maybe it just phases through walls. Or maybe if it hits a wall, maybe it dies that way too, or something fancy. I don't know. I don't know. Something simple is probably best. Other things I want to explore. I want to explore taking damage. I was thinking maybe if I had cardinal directions, you hit a particular spot, those triangles could get damaged, or those polygons could get damaged. Maybe I have a texture that shows up on top of this, that a cracking texture. Maybe that there are a couple options. I want it to be more interactive so that when you shoot these guys, it feels like you're dealing damage to them and you have some indication that something's happening. That's going to be especially important, especially for the charger tanks. They really need that treatment because they're so bulky. Yeah. One of the other things I did today is I got some new tools, as you may have noticed. I got the Amplify Shadow editor, and I also got the Odin Inspector. I haven't played around with the Odin yet, just the Amplify Shadow. I really like this. This is improvement over the just being able to put stuff into material functions so that I can like change this one thing here and it'll change in all the shaders that use this, because I might reuse this code a lot. That would be really nice. Having registries or register local variables, that's really nice, though apparently there's a plugin for that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is today was a good day. I have been rambling for a while now, so I think I'm just going to end it there because I don't think I have anything else to add. If you have any comments, questions, ideas, or anything else on your mind, leave a comment below. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.